What School Won't Tell You, Episode 2. Hi guys, certainly you do know the best-selling book of the world, the Bible. The Bible's stories are indeed very impressive, considering Judaism and Christianity based their religions on the Old Testament and on the New Testament, respectively. Especially Christianity, with its alleged savior Jesus, captivates millions of humans even to this day, some 2,000 years later. What School won't tell you, however, is the fact that the person Jesus Christ as we know him never existed in the first place. The alleged Jesus was actually a man who went by the name of Emmanuel. I know, you might say, religious teachers, priests, bishops, cardinals, or popes should know better about this subject, shouldn't they? Well, unfortunately, those people are not infallible, let alone all-knowing. Neither are those who retold, translated, copied, omitted, or supplemented elements to the Bible stories and simply falsified things throughout 2 millennia, creating a collection of fairy tales and lies, almost completely erasing the truth. However, as it is generally known, the truth inevitably comes to light. As was the case with Billy Meier, whom you already know from the first episode, for he was led to the genuine burial cave of Emmanuel in Jerusalem in the year 1963, where he was able to recover 2,000-year-old scrolls that had been encased in resin and subsequently buried. So how did he accomplish that, let alone know the location of the actual grave? As you can imagine, Billy had support from the Plejaren. A Greek Orthodox priest by the name of Isa Rashid gave him the information where the cave could be, who in turn received impulses from the Plejaren to search and eventually locate the burial cave. This may be a fascinating story, but what's the point of it all and how does it relate to the name Emmanuel? Here's the thing, Isa Rashid knew Old Aramaic and could thus read and translate the scrolls himself. The scrolls are the original testament of Emmanuel, aka Jesus Christ, whereby the writer was a disciple with the name Judas Iscarioth, who was wrongly denounced as traitor. The scrolls further state that Emmanuel's biological father was the so-called guardian angel Gabriel from the Plejaren, and therefore Emmanuel was partly of extraterrestrial descent, but still human. However, Emmanuel taught the teaching of the creation whereby he and Judas Iscariot were the only ones capable of writing. All other 11 male disciples and also 17 female disciples were not educated in this regard. Due to the informative teaching, Emmanuel was very unpopular with the top brass, the governing, and the scribes. So he was increasingly in danger and was finally betrayed by the son of a Pharisee in Jerusalem, delivered to the Romans by the high priests and condemned to crucifixion by the governor Pilatus. However, the original scrolls also reveal that Emmanuel did indeed not die on the cross, that is to say, at the stake. He was unconscious and therefore only seemingly dead, whereby Joseph of Arimathea recognized this and had Emmanuel placed in his burial cave. By friends who were proficient in the Indian healing arts, Emmanuel was nursed back to health in the cave. They entered the cave, though a secret second entrance or exit which Emmanuel also used after 3 days to make his exit. Later, he also met with his disciples who could hardly comprehend that he had survived. And how do these incredible events unravel further? Emmanuel fled towards India and there continued to teach also the teaching of the creation, the teaching of the truth. He married and had several children. In his elder years, one son went to Jerusalem and hid Judas Iscarioth's scrolls in Emmanuel's burial cave. Emmanuel himself died at the advanced age of about 115 years and was buried in Srinagar, Kashmir in India. To this day, the grave that is the shrine can be seen in Srinagar. Next to the grave is a stone slab on which an engraving shows the footprints of a crucified man with scars. The position of the scars just behind the toes do not match each other, but they would align if a single nail is driven through both feet with the left foot placed over the right. As for the original scrolls, unfortunately about 3/4 of them were destroyed during an attack on a refugee camp in Lebanon, where Isa Rashid stayed in the year 1974. He was able to escape this attack, but in 1976, he fell victim to an assassination in Baghdad. Luckily, the priest had been able to translate a portion of the scrolls beforehand and sent it to Billy Meier, who wrote the book Talmud Emmanuel from them. Finally, it needs to be said that other items have been salvaged from the burial cave, which are in the possession of Billy Meier to this day and serve as a testimony to the truth. Find additional information in the description of this video. Until the next time, what school won't tell you?